Welcome to the Lead Every Day show. Our mission is to see a world well led. And our strategy to get there? To empower leaders like you to lead every day. So let's get to work.
Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "It takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan." Welcome to the Lead Every Day show. We're excited that you're here today. I'm Randy Gravitt.
And I'm Mark Miller.
And we are ready to create a plan. We've been talking about a plan for the last several days. Today it's time to rock and roll.
Getting the soil ready.
We've been laying. We've been
preparing the soil.
Preparing the soil. I like that.
We want folks to have their best year ever, and at some point,
yep,
we're going to advocate you need a plan.
You got to have a plan.
You got to have a plan.
That's what we're going to talk about today. So I think the plan starts with a decision to actually write out the plan. Let's talk about that here for a second, because it is a wish if we don't have it written out. It becomes so powerful when we have it in writing.
Yeah. I don't think it's possible to overstate the power and value of actually writing it down. Yeah. Now, people ask me all the time, do you have a template? I said, well, I don't want to give you a template, because your temperament, your personality, your style, I don't know if you need to write this on a napkin or if it needs to be a 40-page document or somewhere in between. All I'm going to say is it has to be in writing if you want to increase the odds that you're actually going to do something with it.
Yeah, I think that's so good. I would give you a few prompts here. I mean, again, everybody's got to do it their own way and the way they think about it. But let's go back to some of those questions we've asked in the last couple of weeks. Is like, what do you want? And really be able to define that and write that out. And why do you want it? I mean, that motive side of your plan, some of that. As you think about it. But remember, I don't know, it's a few days ago now, I talked about some of these different areas of our lives, and I would encourage everybody who's listening to begin to think through, what are the areas of your life that you want to plan? I mean,
the key accounts.
The key accounts. I think that's the way you said it. That was really great. And so some of those might be, what do I want? What do I want emotionally? Like right now, we're hearing all this stuff with, I think the latest numbers I saw, 1/3 of people are struggling emotionally with either mental health or depression or stress at clinical levels. It's really, we can't help at a doctor level, but I can tell you this, a lot of people are not doing very much to try to address some of the emotional challenges they have. They don't have a plan for that. I think if we have a plan, that can be very helpful. So that might be an area that we want to measure. What do I want to do relationally? Maybe I got some relationships that are not where I want to, or even if they are, I still have to have a plan for how I'm going to we say win beyond work. I mean, it's like, or win at work. I mean, those relationships at work are important as well. Financially, why would we not want to have a plan with our money? And then we get down the road and like, I don't have enough money, or my money's not, working correctly. A lot of times we don't have a plan. Vocationally, do we have a work plan? And do we have you could just pick any physically. I mean, I'm New Year's coming up and people will be making resolutions and everything. What if you had a plan?
I'd rather them have a plan.
It'd be better to have
a
plan.
Resolution.
Wouldn't it be great? And so I would just say some of those areas, as you start thinking about writing your plan, pick those areas that are important to you and begin to write out some of the ways that you would want to win in the next year. What would, again, go back to our question from a couple of weeks ago, or a few days ago, what do you want to be true a year from today that's not true today? And if you get a plan toward that and start taking steps, I mean, growth is going to happen.
Yeah. Now, let me say this. A question that I have gotten a lot over the years is, let's pretend somebody's identified 4, 5, 6 of those accounts, areas in their life. I've still had the question, what do I do? I want to get better as a public speaker. Let's use that as an example, because I've had people come to me and say, hey, I want to get better as a public speaker. I've identified that area. What do I do? Well, obviously, in the confines of this episode, there are limited tips and techniques that we can share, but I've got a 3-part strategy that I think is gold.
Love that.
Number 1, read about whatever you're trying to learn.
Whatever the topic is.
Whatever the topic is, go read. Somebody's written about that topic, and you can learn a lot. People distill often years and years and years and years of wisdom into a single
ties
volume.
Back in a little bit to what we talked about yesterday with focusing on an area.
Yeah. So this kid wanted to learn public speaking. I said, let me recommend 2 or 3 or 4 books for you. Great. I said, second thing, you need to talk to people who are good at whatever you're trying to learn about.
Yeah.
And go in with 8 or 10 really good open-ended questions and take great notes.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, I'm talking to you. I said, well, you need to talk to a lot more than me. But
good.
Yeah, talk to people. and ask them questions, maybe questions that are stirred up by what you read in the books.
Yeah.
You say, oh, I wonder about this. I wonder about that. Put it on your list. Talk to people.
Love that.
He said, great. Anything else? I said, one more thing. He said, what's that? I said, you need to do.
Right.
He said, do what? I said, well, if you want to be a great public speaker, you need to be speaking.
Yeah.
He looked at me kind of funny, and I thought, are you doing any speaking? He said, never have. I said, Rotary Club, Kiwanis Club, Sunday school class. He said,
Toastmasters.
never taught anything, never stood in front of a group, never done any public speaking. I said, well, that will be an important part of your development because you're going to learn most of what you're going to learn actually by doing, whatever your topic is. I mean, imagine trying to learn to swim without getting in the water.
Yeah.
That's what this kid was saying about public speaking. So if you don't know what to do after you identify those accounts, read, talk, do. And I think that'll move the ball down the field.
Yeah, that's good. One of the other things that I've thought through the years that really has helped me is not just to have it written out, but or have it written out. But one of the things that I need to also have written out is how am I going to measure success? I think having a plan is great, but we talked the other day about once we get our roles settled, like what are our goals? How do we think about our goals and make sure that we have the right ways to measure success? Because if we're not careful, we'll just start measuring stuff because our buddy's measuring it or somebody else is doing it. We don't really get focused on what it is we're trying to measure and where we're trying to grow. I think measurement can become a force multiplier as well, like that bullseye, of focus. I think the measurement can become one too. And when we begin to do that, it's wild how we make progress. I remember years ago, I was, this has been several years ago, but I was running some marathons. I got where I was doing a few marathons and I wasn't very fast.
You were probably faster than me.
I'm not a marathon.
I've run a few myself.
I'm not a marathon size guy. I'm a little bigger than most of the guys that are winning these races. But I got to a point where I thought I might be able to break 4 hours if I do this. Well, I had to train differently if I was going to do 4 hours because I was doing more than 4 hours, let's just say. And I'm like, I think I could do that. But I'm going to have to do some speed work. I'm going to have to train. I'm going to have to eat a little different. I'm going to have to rest a little different. I'm going to have to train more and run more. And so I had a plan that helped me.
The goal
drove the activity.
And the plan.
It really did. And I'm proud to say that I actually ran 3 hours, 59 minutes, and 27 seconds, which makes those the 33 most important seconds of my whole life because I didn't have to do any more marathons after that. I hit my goal. I was pretty excited about that. So no more marathons, but it really was that goal. And I had somebody that helped me think about resetting the way pain and all that stuff. It was hard for me. There are people that go a lot faster than that, but it's, you gotta be committed to do that. And I find so many people that back then people would ask me, kind of like you're speaking, like, how do you run a marathon? What do you do? And what I found was people really didn't want to run a marathon. They just wanted a medal and a t-shirt. I mean, that's what they want. It's like, that's the deal. But if you want the life that you can have, you need a plan to help you get there. You need to train accordingly. And it's amazing what you can accomplish when you have that and you can measure what it is. So today, it's about writing out the plan. That is maybe what you said it a moment ago. That might be the most important thing we've talked about the last couple of weeks. If you have that written plan, it just raises
everything else
the likelihood.
is preamble. It's preparation. All the things we've talked about, learning from your past and imagining the possibilities.
Yeah.
All those things are preparing you to create the plan. And I'll say this, not only in writing, but be as specific as possible. My coach challenged me years ago. He said, only one thing happens when you're more specific. And I said, what's that? And he said, you're more successful.
Yeah, that's so good.
And so I have tried as much as possible to be specific. Again, there's a lot we don't know, and you can change your plan. It's a living, breathing document, but be specific and your odds of success go way up.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so here's your homework today. It's time to write your plan, and you get to decide what that looks like, how you format that. You go on a napkin if you want. You can put it in a document on a Word document, whatever you want to do. You get to decide, but here's what will happen. If you will write that plan, and I want to give you a deadline, like in the next 3 days, take the next 3 days and spend some time. You're going to have all kind of stuff going on around your life. Find a little bit of time, write that first, we'll call it your first draft of your plan. tomorrow we're gonna give you something to do with that draft and that you can think about over the next couple of days as well. But it starts with having that plan. Pick those areas, those accounts in your life that you want. What are you trying to do? How are you going to measure it? And you will be well on your way to your best year ever. If we can help you, go to leadeveryday.com/21. You can download our 21 days to your best year ever course if that's something you're interested in. Be helpful. And we're gonna have some more content here the next couple of days as we begin to wind down the year. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Remember, the best leaders lead every day.